Hi, this is Ryan with Automatic Comics, and up next I've got another unboxing with a couple Silver Age Marvel books, a modern Marvel book, and a pretty cool independent book. Stay tuned! Hi, so before we get started, please remember to hit that like button and hit the subscribe button if you'd like to see more content like this. So what I've got here should be 4 books, a couple Silver Age Marvel books, as well as a modern Marvel book, and then, like I mentioned, an independent book. So I think I kind of marked which ones are which to see which one I kind of wanted to start with, but let's see. We'll start with this one. We'll start with this one on the bottom here. So this should be the independent book. There have been a lot of independent publishers, and it's generally considered the publishers outside of kind of the major like DC, Marvel, Timely, which is just kind of an iteration of Marvel, that kind of thing. So all those books that have gotten real hot lately with Star Wars, for example, the Dark Horse would be kind of like an independent publisher. But the one that this should be from is Caliber Press, and Caliber Press, they're known for a few different titles. Probably one of the most famous ones would be The Crow. So The Crow 1 is a super valuable book. It's like a 9.8. It's like $5,000 or something like that now, and it's because it's almost all black. I'll stick a picture of it up here if I can find it, just so you kind of have some reference for it. So The Crow 1 actually isn't the first appearance of The Crow. The first appearance of The Crow is this book. And so this is Caliber Presents number 1. It's not a super high grade or anything, especially for a modern book. It's 1989. But an 8.5, white pages. And it's not really the front cover that's really cool for this book. It's the back cover. So, if it was me, I would, like for presenting this book, I would present, the back. So the back has, this awesome picture, of the crow on it. And, it's one of those things where if CGC wanted to, make a mistake and flip the book around, I wouldn't really mind if, that was what was on the front of this case. But, it's similar to The Crow number 1. It's a tough book to get in high grade as well because, it has all this black on the back. And that's very similar to The Crow number 1. But yeah, so this is one book from Caliber Press that I have. I also have another book from them. This is Creatures of the Id, number 1. This is a 9.8. It is a difficult book to find in a 9.8. At one point, I actually had 4 of them in this grade. I'm down to 2, but this is one of the ones that I have. And so this is the first appearance of Frank Einstein, or Madman. And Madman was a pretty popular character, especially in through the 90s. And but his major publications weren't actually in Caliber Press. They were in, I believe, like Dark Horse, IDW, and Image. From what I did a little, pre-work on this one. And but his first appearance is actually in this book, which is this awesome, wraparound cover. I thought it was pretty cool. I was watching an episode of Comic Tom 101 recently, and they had found a copy of this book in a collection and gotten it graded. And so it was kind of cool seeing that on one of their channels, because it's a book you don't see very often. And so just kind of like a quick little thing for kind of some like buying tips for things that I do. I watch a lot of eBay and different auction houses and Instagram and everything like that, and when I see books that I haven't ever seen before, because I've seen a lot of books, I tend to try to grab those books. And I had never come across this book before. I know there's a couple up on eBay, but I had just never seen this one come up before. I had never seen that Creatures of the Id before, and so when I see a book that, you know, after all the books I've seen that I haven't come across before, I mean, I always kind of, it makes me curious, and so I always will try to grab those. So just kind of something that, you know, if you're looking to buy books, if it's a book you haven't seen, you might want to, you know, look into it and see if it's something you want to pick up. Now, the next book, I'm gonna open here. This should be the modern Marvel book. This one was actually kind of interesting because it got it accidentally had the wrong address put on it, and so it got to me, and then to my town, and then that house didn't exist, so it got sent back to the seller. Then they were great about it, you know, they reshipped it out and everything to the correct address. But the crazy thing was that I have a book that I had was shipped to me on like maybe 3 weeks ago now. This is a little after Christmas, and it is still not here. And that book, in less than that amount of time, it came to me, went back, and came back again. So I have no idea how certain books are making it through, you know, all the backlog and the Postal Service and other ones aren't. So here is this book, and this is one I've never had this book before, and so I'm pretty excited to get it. This is Amazing Spider-Man number 361, and it's a 9.6 white pages, but the main reason I really wanted this book is it's the newsstand edition. And so for books that have, you know, super, you know, huge prints like this, I always like to try to get the newsstands just because they're, you know, it makes it something that's a little more unique or rare about the book. But, you know, obviously it's the first appearance of Carnage. You know, he's right on the cover, iconic cover. Something just to be aware of if you're kind of newer to collecting. There is a second print that looks basically identical to this one, except the background is like a gray color instead of this white. And so just make sure if you're, you know, rifling through long boxes, things like that, that you know the difference between the second print and the first print. And if you're not certain, you can always just check inside the, you know, the front cover. Okay, so the last book here are a couple Silver Age Marvel books, and these ones, there are a couple books that I kind of consider them pretty decent spec books right now. I have no idea if this character or these characters are going to show up ever in the MCU, but I do realize how, you know, important they are to Marvel, and so I think that the possibility of them showing up is pretty high, and they aren't that expensive right now. So I think they're worth trying to pick up. So let's see here. So now these are Submariner related books. And so that's kind of the general character I'm talking about, is I think Submariner, outside of Fantastic Four number 4, which I have a real low grade copy of it and bring it up here, but that's his first Silver Age appearance. His first appearance is, I think it's Marvel Comics number 1. So good luck getting a copy of that. But you can get a copy of his first Silver Age appearance in Fantastic Four number 4. But you know, there's been some talk about, you know, like when they referenced tremors in the water in the last Avengers movie, that may have been, you know, Submariner, things like that. So there's possibilities that he might make some appearances. But for his book, you have his, you know, multiple appearances and things in Fantastic Four, but he also had his own run. It kind of started with a book called Iron Man and Submariner number 1, but that's just a one-shot book. It's the only book in that run. And then it split off into Iron Man number 1, which then had obviously a very long-running series, and Submariner number 1, which also had a pretty long-running series, not as long as Iron Man. And so to me, the biggest books in that run, there might be one I'm missing, but are issues number 1 and number 5. And so the book right here, this was a 2-book lot that I picked up, and this is issue number 5, and it's the first appearance of Tiger Shark. And you know, he's a pretty cool character on the front. He's kind of a, I don't know, weird backstory. He was like an Olympic swimmer or something like that, and I think he got injured and then wanted to, you know, was trying to get better and got combined with the genetics of a tiger shark. So he's like part shark. And then late in the future, he kind of got retconned to have adamantium teeth, and so he's a pretty. I think he was also. I think it was like a tiger shark and also like the blood of Submariner or something like that. So he's got very similar power set to Submariner, but also these, you know, real sharp teeth and everything like that. And I just think he's one of the bigger first appearances that came in that Submariner run. It's also a pretty cool cover. So that was the first book that was in this lot. Then the second book is the book that I think is probably the coolest cover in the Submariner run, and that is Submariner number 6. And so it's just this great cover of Submariner, you know, going up against Tiger Shark, and just the art and everything is just amazing. It's a great depiction. It's them kind of battling over this trident, and I mean, I don't know. It's a cool book. The one, it's, you know, obviously it's a high grade. It's a 9.6. It's another one of those cases where it's got white pages, which is a big plus for this book. You know, it's from 1968, so that's pretty cool. And so just, you know, a nice kind of combo set of books. You know, 5 and 6 are the first 2 appearances of Tiger Shark. Now, I mentioned Submariner number 1. I did an unboxing in the past, I think. Of a low grade raw copy of Submariner number 1. I also have this copy, which is a 9.2 white pages copy. That is, I mean, this thing is beautiful. If it wasn't white pages, I would probably try resubmitting it to see, you know, getting it pressed and seeing if it could get a higher grade, because I mean, it is just a amazing book. It has like one spine tick, a little bit of kind of damage going on the upper corner, but it's so minor, and it's a lot of times they give a lot of leeway on that top edge because it's where the cover folded over the other pages. So I don't know, but the risk of losing the white pages designation, it makes me too nervous about resubmitting it. But so this is Submariner number 1. I do really like this cover as well. I think the blue is great, but you know, I think these 2 books are what I would consider the 2 biggest books in that run. There's I think it's issue, I can't remember, it's issue 3 or something. There's an issue where Submariner is battling the Thing that is also, it's like an all black cover, and so at very high grades, that one is also a very expensive book because all the black makes it very difficult to get in the high grade. But yeah, so, you know, real excited to get these books. You know, Submariner 5 and Submariner 6. Amazing Spider-Man 361, first appearance of Carnage, and Caliber Press number 1, which is the first appearance of the Crow. So if you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button. If you'd like to see more content like this, please hit the subscribe button. And when I get some more books in, I will film some more videos. Thanks again.